Alex Pereira just reminded the world why you don't blink when he's fighting. One clean right hook, a few follow-up elbows, and Magomed Ankalaev, one of the toughest men at 205, was staring at the lights. It wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Pereira's now a two-time light heavyweight champ, and the conversation immediately shifted from, can he do it again, to what's next for Poatan? And right on cue, Khamzat Chimaev slid back into the headlines trying to stir the pot. But Pereira's not biting, not anymore. So let's break it down. What's real, what's hype, and where this man's headed next. The first Pereira-Ankalaev fight back in March was messy. Close rounds, heavy leg kicks, and a decision that left fans split down the middle. Pereira says he was only at 40% for that fight. Fast forward to UFC 320, no confusion this time. Pereira came in surgical. That short right hook, perfect timing, perfect angle. Ankalaev dropped like someone unplugged his controller. Seems like that 40% statement was legit. And just like that, the belt was back around Poatan's waist. After the fight, Pereira said he might have broken his foot, but you couldn't tell from how calm he looked. No screaming, no trash talk, just another day at work. That's the scary part. Pereira doesn't celebrate violence. He just delivers it. Right after UFC 320, Khamzat Chimaev jumped on X and fired off a tweet that nearly broke the algorithm. I'm ready to fight you in the heavyweight. You won't find a super fight bigger than ours. No, Chama. This is smash everybody. Classic Boars energy. Fearless, chaotic, and maybe a little unrealistic. The guy just became middleweight champ and already wants to skip 205 entirely to fight the most violent man alive and do it at heavyweight. But here's the thing. Pereira's not interested. He saw the tweet, nodded, and basically said, cool story, but I've got bigger plans. At the UFC 320 post-fight presser, he thanked Chimaev for the congrats, but made his intentions clear. Thanks for the congratulations, but all I want is a super fight. I want to fight in the heavyweight division. All I can say is thank you. Translation, I'm not chasing Khamzat, I'm chasing history. And to be fair, these two have been circling each other since UFC 276. Back when Pereira knocked out Strickland and Chimaev called him out on live TV, calling him easy work. Pereira fired back, called him a coward, and the tension's been simmering ever since. Still, let's be real, Chimaev's got business to handle in his own division. A title defense waiting and Strickland barking up his tree. Meanwhile, Pereira's looking up the ladder, not sideways. So yeah, the call-out made noise, but it's not happening. At least not while both men have empires to defend. Meanwhile, Strickland's out here doing what Strickland does, calling out everyone with a pulse. He's been chirping at Khamzat since the middleweight title switch, saying he'll expose the wolf as nothing more than a dog off leash. And honestly, that fight makes sense. Same division, unfinished business, both bring chaos to press conferences and violence to fight night. So while the internet drools over a fantasy match between Khamzat and Pereira, the real storm might be Strickland versus Chimaev. That's where the middleweight storyline's going. Not upward, but inward. Then you've got Dana White, the man trying to manage three fires at once. On one hand, he's got Chimaev, a new middleweight champ with crossover potential. On the other, he's got Pereira, a two-division star who might be one knockout away from MMA folklore. But Dana hates when champions start skipping divisions. He said it plenty of times. Defend your belt first, then we'll talk super fights. That's why Carlos Ulberg, City Kickboxing's latest killer, is the most likely next opponent for Pereira. He's young, fast, technical, and undefeated in his last 7. And most importantly, he's available. If you're still with me, you're one of the few who actually watch fights instead of headlines. I'm Reggie Cross, a former fighter and trainer bringing you behind the lines of the fight game. So hit that subscribe, because here, we don't do clickbait, we do context, and we're just getting started. Back to it. Now let's talk about the elephant in the division. Jon Jones, or maybe the ghost in the division. Jones has been teasing retirement, unification fights, comeback fights, and then retirement again. He's basically the Brett Favre of MMA. One day he's out walking his dog and preaching peace. The next he's back in the gym calling out half the roster. You never know if he's coming, going, or starting a podcast. But his name keeps floating around for that rumored White House UFC card next summer. Dana's dream project where politics meets prize fighting. If Jones actually follows through this time, Pereira's the one name that makes sense. Two champions from different eras, both carrying that calm, cold danger that makes arenas hold their breath. After UFC 320, Pereira even paused his celebration to dedicate a moment of silence to Jones's brother Arthur, who had passed away that same weekend. A real show of respect between killers. So the question isn't just will they fight, it's when Jon Jones decides which version of Jon Jones we're getting this week. If the comeback sticks, Pereira versus Jones is a dream main event. If it doesn't, well, we'll all act surprised again when the next tweet drops. Here's where things get really interesting. Pereira's next dream isn't a light heavyweight defense, it's heavyweight gold. He's openly said he wants to move up and chase a third belt. That's legacy talk. That's history-making territory. The problem? It's also risky business. Tom Aspinall's defending the heavyweight title against Cyril Gaines at UFC 321. Both are athletic, technical, and bigger than anyone Pereira's ever fought. If Aspinall wins, that's a nightmare matchup. Strong grappler, great timing, enormous frame. If Gaines wins, now you've got something fun. Two elite strikers, both allergic to wrestling, both precision-based. That's a fight that sells. But there's also a timing issue. Pereira might be nursing a broken foot. He'll need recovery time before bulking up. That could delay his plans until mid-2026, right around the rumored White House event window. Coincidence? Maybe not. If the stars don't align, expect the UFC to lean into entertainment, a one-off fight, maybe even at catchweight. One name that always pops up in these situations, Derek Lewis, a walking highlight reel and fan favorite who could headline a card just by showing up shirtless. It wouldn't be for rankings, it'd be for headlines. And Dana White knows sometimes chaos sells better than titles. Pereira's already done what most fighters dream of. Avenged losses, conquered two divisions, silenced doubters. Now he's eyeing the impossible, a third title at heavyweight. But this isn't just about history, it's about closure. He's 38 years old. His window isn't wide, but his focus is razor sharp. Whether it's Jon Jones, Cyril Gaines, or someone we haven't met yet, Pereira's next move will define the rest of his legacy. He's calm, cold, and calculated. Not loud like Chimaev, not reckless like Strickland, just precise. And patient enough to wait for destiny to blink first. In this sport, everyone's chasing something. Money, fame, revenge. Pereira has all of those things. Instead, Alex Pereira's chasing history. Not an opponent, not a belt, something deeper. The chance to prove that timing beats youth, that discipline outlasts spectacle. He's not here to smash everybody. He's here to end chapters. So, what do you feel Alex Pereira's next chapter looks like? Drop your take in the comments. I'm Reggie Cross for Behind the Lines. If you're feeling the vibe, hit that subscribe, and remember, hype fades, legacy don't. Peace. 745